So my presentation it's not about mapping, and it's mainly not about and also digital humanities. It's about Center for Urban History, and the idea was to catch you at the end and then to preach our agenda and to tell you a few more words about what we do here. Of course, you can go online and search Lviv Center, and then you will find the Center for Urban History, and you can read a lot of information about the center. But the digital history seminar is organized by the section of the Center for Urban History, which is called Urban Media Archive. And we came up with this identity a few years ago. So before, when we started, as Harald in the beginning of this workshop mentioned, when we started 10 years ago, we wanted to be like Enrico said, we wanted to get rid of any documents and to have everything digital. And of course, we didn't have any originals, so this was not the case, so that we wanted to throw away something. But we realized that it's a great pleasure to work with something that you don't have to maintain continuously. It's like this heavy archive of. On the other side, it gives you a bit this disconnection from the materiality of the sources. It was already, it is still, I mean, for 10 years we work with different institutions, and we strive to digitize documents or different media, not only paper documents, and we convert them into digital files, and then we store them on our local server, and then strive to make projects like Lviv Interactive that Taras presented to you. We started from photographs, as it usually happens, so the image is the most powerful thing. Then we slowly moved to the maps, and then to the moving images, so video files. And then we started also working with voices and interviews. So Urban Media Archive then was shaped, as I said, like several years ago as an idea, and our idea was to indicate that this is actually an archive which is digital, and it's related to the city, but not only one city. So it's located in Lviv, in the city, but it's about different cities. But of course, due to different limitations, the majority of sources we have relate to the city of Lviv. And if you go on the page of the Urban Media Archive, you see that they are divided into these 4 sections. So it's image database, maps, digital, urban video, and urban stories. And my colleagues who work in each of these sections, I'm happy they are here. So the maps, on maps work Marichka Kovarilko. She is not at the center now, but we are friends, and she did a lot for this project. And then images are the guy who takes care of images is Oles Machanec. He's there at the end. And then urban stories are managed by Natalia Otyszczenko, our sociological voice, and I work with video. So there are only 3 people who work on this archive, and I will show very quickly. So urban maps, it's not it's not even a tool. We tried to develop some tools, but then, as it often happens, like with this slide about Amazon, so everything changes so quickly, and so we still plan to redesign the whole Center for Urban History page, and maps will be kind of closely connected to this redesign. That's why this project is a bit frozen for now, but still there are a lot of people who come visit, and they look for maps. Especially we have many people from Poland, since we have a lot of Polish maps. And then, of course, if you click on the map, you can have the agenda, which is indicated. So the map agenda is usually indicated with dots, and clicking on dots, yeah, it doesn't work, but normally Ljubko will fix it. So when you click on dot, then you get the historical information. So it's a rather we may say this is a tool which is normally used by professors or in schools when they need to show historic maps. And the pleasure of this project is that you can zoom in and we can, for instance, look the say place. Here is the place where we sit now. So there was nothing in the late 19th century. Yeah? So there was a garden here, and then you can do some research, which is nice, and we also like it. Urban images. This is the most extensive and the longest project of the Urban Media Archive. And here we have everything is divided according to historical, small historical periods. And then if you click on these periods, then you can find photographs or graphs and different visual information. And then it has the metadata, as it usually happens. But we also strive to unite these images. So through the related section, when the certain image or the author is related to another image or the author. So it's also a very useful tool, and often different publishing houses, they turn to the Center for Urban History for materials, or researchers who work with visual history. They also our clients. And then urban video is also collection of files which are digitized from the state archive, but then also the flash player doesn't work, so I will not show you. But believe me, this is video, and our idea was not to replace the state archive or to make for them digitization. On the contrary, we have certain agenda behind this archive, and this, to make it simple, the agenda is that we are looking and searching for everything that is not in the focus of state or institutions which have to maintain certain collections. So to come to this issue from the other side, we are kind of collecting what is considered by state as garbage, or things which they don't really care about. For instance, home movies, private recordings, television files, they don't care about them, though they keep them at the archive, and many other formats and many other media. And by doing these things, we not only kind of have this feeling that we save something, but we also strive to engage community. So, for instance, when it comes to media files, video files, every October we participate in the International Home Movie Day, and for this we indicate publicly that we are ready to digitize home files, home movies for free. There's the only requirement that these files remain at the Center for Urban History. And because of this, we already collected a good number of files. So, for instance, this is 2017. The last year we had we purchased. This is not the purchase, but last year we had 6,000. No, we purchased. We have more images. Sorry. So this is the number of the maps. This is the constant number. So we have 270 maps. Then we have a certain number of interviews, and up to 10,000 video files, and then the image collection is much bigger. So the visitors who come to the page, they mainly are Ukrainians, but then from Poland, and interestingly from the United States, a little bit from Germany and Russia. The local audience, again, mainly from this city, from Lviv, and then the central Ukraine, Ivano-Frankivsk, near the Carpathians, Kharkiv in the east, Chernivtsi again. But this audience is not stable, so we don't have a kind of constant audience from certain places. From the outside, we have a lot of people interested in these materials from Poland, and then from New York. We know the source of information from California and Florida, because we have some agents there who are teaching courses, and they preach Eastern European history also at the courses, and our instruments are very useful. So this is our audience, and the age is rather young, so these are people between 25 and 35 years old. Unfortunately, we are not yet fit to all these mobile devices, and we see each year that the number of people who come from mobile devices is growing, and we need to adjust to this development. So that's why I say that certain projects are not, we keep frozen, because we need to remodel the whole page. Yeah, these amateur films, we purchase normally home movies on films, and then also VHS or digital films. And I want to show you a very interesting purchase that we made last year. And before this, I'll show you, there was a famous film, Decasia. Those who don't know it, I'm just showing the page. It was produced by Bill Morrison, the American filmmaker, but he studied original nitrate, how do you call it? So these are films which were made in the very early age, film production, and they are dangerous. So they usually there are specific chemicals used to produce them, and they are easily burning, flammable. Yeah. And for instance, in Ukraine, all these films were replaced by the copies, with more safe copies. And the Soviet Union, there was the whole campaign to replace them, because several archives burned completely, and this was considered as a big problem. And in the West, Bill Morrison found these films like in the MoMA Museum or in a special collection. So these are not normal archival collections, but kind of, I might be mistaken, so Jan Philipp knows this issue better, but many archives also worldwide, they strive to get rid of these films since they're dangerous. And what he discovered that these decaying or dying films, they have very great aesthetic value. So he produced this movie, Decasia, which was made together with the composer Michael Gordon. And so this is the kind of small excerpt. As you see, this is not a Photoshop or any digital editing. These things were done by history and by nature. And what he did, he just compiled this into this beautiful visual narrative. And last year we made home movie days, and we participated in the home movie day, and we called for different films, and we received one film which was also produced by the amateur film studio in the central Ukraine, in Kirovohrad region, by the villagers, actually, in the village. And it was kept in a very bad condition, so it was destroyed by chemicals. And our master didn't want to even to proceed. He said that this is really, everything is destroyed, and he didn't want even to try, but then we managed to convince him, and we restored this film, which I think we should then send to Davy and Belgium Cinematheque, who participate now in some film festival, because it's very similar to Decasia, and I'm happy to show it to you. Though if the Decasia had the sound created by Gordon, this is the original soundtrack that we managed to restore from the... And the irony is that this is the story of a man who carves figures from wood. And he conveys in his narrative very tentative and emotional relations to nature and to wood, and how he makes out of wood kind of eternal things. And I find this link between almost dead film and this narrative very interesting.
Дерево. Ми часом до нього відносимось не так, як воно того заслуговує. Візьмемо, приміром, ясень. Ми привикли, що з нього роблять ручки до молотка, або топорища до сокири, бо воно...
Yeah, I will not bother you with this, but normally such things are considered by state archives in Ukraine as not interested object to preserve, and the Center for Urban History strives to play this intermediary role. So we accept that we try to be a bridge, as what mentioned in the network theory, to bridge the academia with the wider public. We also strive to bridge practices which do not exist with the need to preserve and to work with some things which are not considered important for the state, but important for the people. And this makes this urban media archive a bit different from the typical archives. I think this will be my final words for today. I need to go through the important procedure. I want to this is the thank you session, you understand. So I want to thank everybody for coming and our international guests from, unfortunately some of them had to leave already, some are not present, but thank you, and we are very happy to have you here. I want to thank the Center for Governance and Culture at St. Gallen University and Anna and Alexei, who actually managed to secure funding for this seminar. So the Swiss state is the great state. St. Gallen is... Long live Switzerland! And of course, Center for Urban History and Sofia Diak for giving us all the possibilities and the venue and everything, infrastructure and possibility to work on this workshop. And my colleagues who, without whom it wouldn't be possible. Yulia Dichka, she is not here, but she communicated with you, and she is responsible for all this wonderful food and everything here. Mariana, who made the promotion and also organizational matters, and Oles Machanets, who made even this. This is what we do also at the Urban Media Archive. We call it recycling or unarchiving, and this is the historic photograph which was transferred to the banner, and then from the banner all is made back, so nothing is thrown away. We will live with this till the end. And we don't throw historical artifacts, we just made from them other objects. So Oles is also a very important figure to organize this workshop. So I think I mentioned everybody, and I think this is the end. Yes. So now we need to rearrange the room, and we wait for you at 6 o'clock, so you have time to go to the hotel or whatever you want, and then please come back. At 6 o'clock we will have a special party, which is, we will have a VJ who will work on the archival documents, and she will make for us video art. And music for this video art was recorded by the philosopher, local philosopher. So it's real stuff, yes. And we will have good wine and good food. So please come and thank you.